Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to another video. As always, it's me, Ivan, and today we'll have a very quick look at the flare-red G-Shock GWG-2040FR-1A, which together with the MTG B3000FR was released to celebrate Casio's 40th anniversary. It's a limited edition, but it's still very easy to find, and if you don't mind its asking price, it could be the next G-Shock to add to your collection. Just to be clear guys, I don't own this watch. I borrowed it from my local AD, relojeriaesparza.com. Unfortunately, they don't have this model in stock anymore, but still, I've left their contact info in the description down below in case you want to purchase a watch from them. And as usual, if you mention me, they will adjust the price for you. I didn't spend much time with this model, and as a result, this video will be a bit short. We'll just go through the design as it's the most important part, and I've also compared it very briefly to a couple of other G-Shocks. But hey, those of you who want to know more about the GWG-G2000 lineup, you can check my more detailed review of the non-limited edition models, which should be showing up on the upper right corner of your screen. Alright, obviously this newer model has exactly the same dimensions as the non-limited edition models, and so it's just a bit smaller than its predecessor, the GWG-1000, but still, what you're looking at is one very large watch. Nevertheless, it's very wearable, and as you can see, despite having a case diameter of 54.4mm, it still looks quite nice on my average size 17cm or 6.7-inch wrist. It's quite comfortable as well, but like I said in my comparison video, I find the 1000 model to be slightly more comfortable, but that could be due to the shape of my wrist. Anyway, the watch weighs only 112 grams, so once again it's quite wearable, and I don't think you have any issues with it as long as your wrist is about the same size as mine. For a quick comparison, here it is next to my GWG-1000. As you can see, both watches are very similar in terms of dimensions. The 2040 model is slightly smaller, as I just said, but it's definitely not something that would make you choose one over the other. They even weigh about the same, 119 grams versus 112. Here is also how it compares next to the GPR-H1000, which I also reviewed not so long ago. These two are even more similar in terms of size, with the most noticeable difference being that the H1000 is 2mm thicker, while also being 20 grams lighter. Now, when it comes to the design, it's physically the same, but we have this new color scheme which looks incredibly nice and cool in my opinion. I know some of you may not like it much, and that's fine. In fact, I don't quite like the Toyota limited edition version, but this one, I absolutely love it. Besides the different colors, Casio has also used different materials for the bezel. This one is made of carbon fiber with luminous particles, while the rest of the GWG-2000 models feature metal bezels. The idea behind this choice of colors and materials is, I quote, to match the bezel with solar flare patterns that glow in the dark. End of quote. And I'm telling you straight away guys, it's a cool idea, it sounds cool, and the bezel, as I said, looks very cool in daylight, but in the dark, you won't see much of a glow. I mean, I'm not complaining, I'm really not. I'm just saying that while the lume on the handset and indices is pretty decent, the bezel fades away very quickly. It will hold up for a couple of Instagram shots, but after a few minutes, it won't be very visible. I don't think anyone will care about the lume longevity of the bezel because it doesn't really serve a purpose, but I just had to mention it. Once again, this is not a complaint, and let me stress again that this watch looks spectacular, it's very eye-catching, and it does attract a lot of attention to your wrist. Moving on to the overall build quality, it is exceptional as you would expect. In fact, this is one of the best built Casio G-Shocks that I've reviewed recently. It feels very solid and more premium when compared to other cheaper G-Shocks. And as you can see from these close-up shots, all the parts are very nicely fitted and there are no imperfections. The racing band is also of very high quality, it's thick and flexible enough. It's not as flexible as the one on the GPR-H1000, but it's very good nonetheless. Then we've got the hardware, it's rose gold plated, and the band keeper carries the 4 stars to remind you that it's been 40 years since the first G-Shock was created in 1983. Next, let's have a closer look of the dial, and again, nothing has changed but the colors. The layout is exactly the same, which is good as it's very legible, and you can see that just like the rest of the watch, the overall execution of the dial itself, the hands and the indices, is pretty much perfect. Guys, the digital negative display might not be MIP, but it's still very nice and clear, even in lower light conditions. It also helps that it's illuminated, so you won't have any problems reading it under any circumstances. When it comes to the features, for those of you who aren't familiar with this model, they're exactly the same as the ones that we find on the previous one, the GWG-1000, and obviously on the GWG-2000 non-limited edition models as well. These are barometer, thermometer, stopwatch, countdown timer, multiple alarms, and world time. In addition, this watch is solar powered and it's also multi-band 6 radio controlled. There isn't any Bluetooth connectivity, which to be fair, I don't think is necessary. And overall, I really think that the set of features that this model offers is pretty great. Guys, the bottom line is, this is a fantastic G-Shock. I like it a lot and I would love to add it to my collection. However, it's a bit expensive. You can still find it on sale with a bit of a discount, but it's still going to be a bit pricey. Especially when you compare it to what the GWG-1000 used to cost a few years ago. As you know, prices of everything have been continuously going up, and as a result, the MSRP of this one is €1,150. Is it worth it? Well, it depends on you and how much you want it. All I can say is that if I didn't already have the GWG-1000, an MTG and an MRG, I would have bought it immediately. But hey, I have a soft spot for G-Shocks, I'm a big fan, so my opinion might be a little bit biased. And that's why I would love to know what you think about the flare red models in the comments down below. Thank you very much for watching another of my videos. If you enjoyed it, make sure you give it a thumbs up, and if you're new, consider subscribing. It will be amazing if you do so. Thanks again guys, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.